Good afternoon from Martin's Hi-Fi in Norwich. This is our very first live feed. It's introducing the REL event. We've got the very latest REL subwoofers, the new T5, T7 and T9X range. First in the world to show this to the general public. And we've got Rob from REL, who's come specially to show us these subwoofers and introduce them to you. I think we're going to do an A/B demonstration for you so you can actually hopefully pick up and hear what we can hear in the demonstration room. So I'm going to move out the way so Rob can take his mask off, and introducing you, Rob from REL.
Thanks, Steve.
Welcome.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Martin's REL launch event of this brand new range, which we're very proud of. And I'll just take a bit of time to talk through the new products. We're going to concentrate on the T7X, but as Steve has already said, we've got three in the range. They start with the T5X. This is the middle product, and then the top of the range is the T9X. So, what's different with the new TX over the TI? Well, in short, everything. So they sport a new cabinet. The new cabinet design, and that straight away gives us a much cleaner look to the product. The TI range has actually been around for 5 years, believe it or not. Hugely successful for us, very popular range, but the TX is everything that the TI offers. The X suggests a little bit extra. It's almost like the Spinal Tap. These now go to 11. You've got extra everything. So if you look at the drivers look very similar. They're not. They're new drivers. So when REL bring a new product to market, it's very rare that we will just simply replace a single part of the whole product itself. Ordinarily, like with this range, everything changes. So to make the cabinet a different shape and size, we had things to think about. First of all, they look shorter. They are shorter, but they're deeper. So the cabinet itself means that we've got more volume. That volume of cabinet means that we can drive the subwoofer harder and we can drive the subwoofer lower. So immediately for a similar size unit, we've got more power and they'll go lower. So the more power is more useful for everything. Lower is more useful arguably for the AV side of things. So we started with a new driver construction once we were happy with the cabinet. The cabinet itself is thicker than the outgoing T9i cabinet. The drivers are faster than the outgoing units in the TI range. Now, with the TI range itself, everybody sort of became accustomed to its shape and form and size, and we followed the format in one sense because the baby of the range only gives you a single downward firing driver, and in actual fact it's the same size as on the T7X, but on the T7X we've got this clever little thing underneath. I don't know if you can see from there, and that is a passive radiator, because REL don't believe in putting holes in their subwoofers. But obviously if we're driving that much stronger now and we're creating that much more energy, that energy has to go somewhere. If it can't escape out through a hole, we need for it to be able to move inside the cabinet so that the product can still drive really hard and not distort. Now if I press the bottom cone, I don't know if you can pick that up, but you can see the driver moving. Can you see that? Yeah? So that movement is just showing you that we're if you like, dispersing the available air in that cabinet. So the way that the cones are laid out, on the T5X we've got this exact cone, but it's downward facing, exactly the same as it was in the T5i. When you move up to the T7X, we're using the same size cone, but we've introduced that extra passive radiator. That makes it clear to us that we have the extra ability to drive even harder. So why do we have three different sizes in the range? Why don't we just have one? Well, the simple fact is you must match your subwoofer to the speakers and the environment. Now on the REL website you'll find a really useful speaker pairings tool, and we do this a little bit differently to others, and we make sure that frankly we listen to all of the speakers that we suggest that we pair our subwoofers too. Obviously, you know, there might be the odd few that we can't necessarily get to because there are thousands of different speakers available nowadays. But we have teams in the US, we have teams in Europe, and even me in the UK. We spend as much time and effort as we can making sure that when somebody goes onto the REL website and checks for their speaker pairing, it's as accurate as possible. We don't just say, okay, well, you've got an 8-inch driver on your speaker, so you need an 8-inch cone to go with. We actually try and give you the right product match for your speaker. So if, for example, you've got a small bookshelf pair of speakers, then you're going to be using a smaller subwoofer, generally speaking, than you would be if you've got a rather large floor standing pair of speakers. So the way that the range works in terms of placing price wise, the new T5X will sell in the UK for £650. The T7X will sell for £1,000, and then the big if you like, the biggest brother in the range is the T9X, which will sell for £1,300, and that's the one that we're going to show you in a quick A/B if we can. I don't know how well you're going to pick it up, and the whole point of showing you what we've got here is hopefully so you can pop down to Martin's over the course of the next couple of days, book yourself in for an appointment and listen to these new products. It's the first time that any dealer in the world actually has put together one of these events, so well done to the Martin's team, and we're here for a couple of days. As good as these video things are, there will be people listening to this A/B on a mobile phone or on a laptop with little tiny speakers, and you probably won't really get the full idea of what we're trying to show. So let me just show you something quickly around the back here, because this is where REL start to be a little bit different. So first of all, the back panel looks very similar to the old product, but it's not. It features the same basic footprint. Apart from that, you know, there's very little that we can say is similar to the old range in essence. It's more powerful, and by just adding in a new driver, you can't just put a new driver into an amplifier. It doesn't work like that. A typical example is our Carbon Special product that we launched at Martin's, I think last year sometime. We did an event with Martin's last year. That started life as an 812, and we found a lovely new driver, put that into the box of the 812. Didn't sound right. So then we changed the amplifier, put that into the box alongside, didn't sound right. So in the end, it became a completely new product. It needed a new cabinet, a new amplifier, a new driver. So a product that started life, if you like, as essentially being a souped up 812, turned into a completely new product. And it was completely the right thing to do, because if you haven't heard it, you need to listen to it. It's amazing. So on the back, we're using, on the TX range, we're using a Class AB amplifier. On some of the other products, we use a Class D amplifier. Why do we make it different? That's what sounds right with the box. There's no point just following a format just because it fits a price point. We make the product fit together correctly. So if you look at the controls on the back of a REL, it's slightly different. Yes, all subwoofers have RCA inputs, but REL connect up in a slightly different way, using what we class as the high level connection, which is a speak-on connector, and it's a push and twist click connector, and that connects directly up to your speaker terminals on your amplifier. And the reason we do that is simple. If we feed the subwoofer exactly the same signal that your speakers enjoy, you find far better integration. The other inputs you've got are for home cinema. So you've got an LFE input. People don't realise LFE is a completely separate line of information. So yes, you would use your high level connection for front, left and right, plus the LFE if you're using an AVR setup at home. So the two signals run simultaneously. Do they conflict? No, because the decoding is done by the AVR and squirts the LFE down the information channel when it's needed. The other portion of the listening time effectively is governed by front, left and right, and that's taken control through the high level control. We've also got an auto standby selection. So if you don't want the subwoofer to stay on all the time, it will automatically sense that there's no signal after about 15 or 20 minutes and then shut off. Up here we've got a phase control. This is the one that a lot of people get confused about. Phase is nothing to do at all with quality. It's just so that we can actually make sure that the subwoofer is going to fire at exactly the same time as your speakers. So if your speakers, you've heard the term being out of phase, they're working like this, they're not working together. Likewise, you want your subwoofer to work in unison with the speaker itself. If you switch between these two settings, all you're listening for is volume of bass. Whichever is loudest is correct. And frankly, don't listen to what your instruction manuals may tell you, because a typical example is all AVR instructional manuals that I've ever seen will tell you that if your subwoofer goes at the front of the room, it must be set on 0. If it goes at the back of the room, it must be set on 180. Unfortunately, your AVR has no idea what your speaker manufacturer has done to the crossover to make it sound right. So you must select between 0 and 180 to see which sounds correct. Over here, we have a little wireless connector. So all of the TX range still features the Arrow wireless adapter, so that if you don't have the facility to be able to place your subwoofer close to your hi-fi, you can put them pretty much within reason wherever you want to, because you've got wireless, you've got the flexibility of wireless. Does it make any difference on sound quality? Yes, it does. In actual fact, a little story, when I first put my own wireless in at home, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago now, it was with a product that we used to do called Habitat. And it was the first product that we really sort of went along with the wireless side of things. I put mine together and sat down and listened, and then I phoned the guys in the States who designed it, and I said, look, I'm really sorry guys, I must have done something wrong, because it sounds better in wireless than it does with its standard cable. And they said, yeah, that's exactly the point. So yes, it sounds different. Yes, it sounds as good, if not better, as a 10-meter run of cable. And it's really flexible. There's no difference on timing. Your ears can't pick up any difference on timing. So it's a really good get out of jail card. Big heat sink on the back of the unit here. That's because, as we said earlier, we've got a good quality Class AB amplifier. And the other reason we sort of stuck to this is our amplifier makers are second to none. They are supremely reliable. But not only that, we stand a good chance of these being able to be repaired for many, many years to come. We've still got products in the field that are 20-something years old, and we're still able to repair them. We feel it's our duty to be able to offer a product that has that longevity. Not only that, we've got a product here that falls within what is coming for the whole industry, in the sense that we do have to look at products that are repairable rather than disposable. And that's something that's coming through the whole electronics industry. Long time overdue, actually, I may say. Then all we've got down here is your little mains input, and that's all you've got. So, compact box, beautiful finish. I didn't mention about the finish, but we are now on a real piano finish, as everybody's become to know REL 4. But everything is different. Everything is better thought out in a lot of ways. Compact, fits into our lifestyle, and I think what we'll do now is we'll try and show you the difference between playing with the subs on and playing with the subs off. So what we'll have is the T9X paired with the fabulous new KEF LS50s
Meta.
with the new Meta drivers, which work really well. And we're going to have to sort of skip to a separate shot for you, just to show you the differences between the two products, the outgoing range and the new incoming range, so you can get an idea of the differences and how they look. And while we're doing that, as the one we prepared earlier, we'll swap over so that we can actually play a piece of music with and without the subwoofers.
Oh, well done. Sorry, mate.
wheels off quickly.
Okay, welcome back everybody. I think we're about ready to do our comparison demonstration. I think we're starting with the speakers on their own with no subwoofers. So when we're ready, music should commence.
Okay, so what we're going to do is plug in the high level because we're using this as a stereo demonstration, and we're good to go.
Should we do that with the subwoofers off again? I think that'd be a good idea. So we'll go subwoofers, we'll just take them out. Okay. Excellent. It'd be very interesting to know if anybody out there listening live could actually detect any difference through their systems at home. So perhaps, I don't know if you can message us or let us know. It'd be interesting to know, but certainly in the room, it's just, yeah, it takes on another dimension. The kick drum is bigger, more lifelike, and the bass guitar's just got a space all of its own, and it just becomes more solid with the subwoofers engaged. So hopefully you were able to pick up some of that, at least at home. So please let us know how you got on with that, so we know for the future. Rob, anything else we can?
No, all we need to say is please make a point of coming down to see us over the next couple of days. What you said about the sound itself is very difficult to try and describe what the difference is, obviously over something like this. But yes, you will probably pick up more bass. The thing you can't pick up on these kind of things is the extra space that you get. And as good as the speakers are, it just makes them sound even better, which is what it's all about.
Yeah, that's absolutely brilliant. So we do have limited spaces available. We've already got quite a few people booked in, and because COVID regulations means it's single person demonstrations, just do phone us and see if we've got any slots free, and we'll do our very best to accommodate everybody. So from Martin's Hi-Fi and REL, we really look forward to catching up with you in the not too distant future. And we're just really chuffed that we're actually able to do this again. So look forward to seeing everybody soon. Thanks, Rob. Thanks to Jack, who's been masterminding this from behind the scenes. And we will look forward to seeing you soon.
Cool. Well done, mate.